Alright, and we're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, and drama. We talked about superstar inactive statuses, injury updates. We talked about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talked about promotions from WWE to New Japan Professional Wrestling to Stardom to the GCW to the National Wrestling Alliance. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. All right, so going to reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our WWE SmackDown preview / talk. And now we're going to talk about some Ring of Honor and TNA. But before we do any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and keep heading up those super chats, whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to get off your chest here at the GSMC Sports Network. We want to make sure that you guys feel like you're absolutely comfortable. We are all ears 1010%. This show is all about keeping the conversation lively, making sure that you guys feel like your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy and drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, why not use that super chat? Click that $sign right next to that chat box. Basically, anything you guys put inside that box is going to be guaranteed to be featured and talked about, maybe even debated about if it's that juicy on the show, 1010%. So go ahead and send in that message and don't be shy. Plus, it's a great way to support the channel here at the GSMC Sports Network. It's a great way to support our channel. You guys sending in those super chats obviously keeps the lights on these all amazing podcasts with all these amazing podcasters who have one goal in mind, to make sure that you guys keep consuming the content that you guys love so damn much. And it's, guess what, absolutely 1010% free. So yeah, thank you in advance. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's go ahead and start. Let's get this conversation started. Let's get this party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this content, this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if super chat and all your thing, go ahead and hit up the GSMCpodcast.net. Hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember the Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1010%. But in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. Criticism, some disagreements are going to happen. But guess what, guys? It's all gravy. It's all water under the bridge. It's all gravy, baby. It's all good in the neighborhood. Just make sure you guys want to feel absolutely, definitely encouraged to speak. A lot of audience engagement. I don't want to be sitting up here yelling at the mic for like an hour straight. Definitely don't want to do that. So, make sure you guys, tune in and, speak your mind. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some TNA Impact and Ring of Honor. We're going to start off with TNA Impact. So, overall, it was, after watching highlights, I thought it was overall, it was a decent one. The Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich, defeated Alicia Edwards, no disqualification match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Obviously, this is kind of like, Masha's way of like kind of ushering in her new era in terms of being a Knockouts champion. I feel like Jordynne Grace is going to take some time off of wrestling. Like, I feel like her rematch at Turning Point, and this is what I would do if I was TNA, because, you have Jordynne Grace showing up on, TNA, you had her showing up on, WWE NXT, just representing that title so damn well, and, she deserves some time off, man. I got to be honest. She's been a workhorse for the company for quite some time. Maybe you find a way for Tasha Steelz and maybe Alicia Edwards to kind of find a way to injure Jordynne Grace, and maybe Masha Slamovich kind of takes that position as that, kind of takes that hero role where she, takes down Tasha Steelz and also Edwards, where they're, obviously the twosome, obviously the bad guys in terms of the, the stories and stuff like that. But, it should be interesting. I don't want to go out there and say that Jordynne Grace isn't going to make it to Turning Point. I feel like, if this story makes sense, and obviously a lot of people would like to see this match between Masha and Jordynne kind of run back, and I'd like to see it as well. But right now, Jordynne Grace was just so damn dominant as the TNA Knockouts World Champion. When she lost to Masha, I gotta be honest, the universe of professional wrestling were kind of like, I kind of raised the brow. I kind of raised the brow. I was like, you know what? I'm a little skeptical about that decision. Mostly because Jordynne Grace has been absolutely impressive. She's been carrying the TNA women's division on her back. And, now you kind of have her lose against Masha Slamovich. Like, I get it. In the past, their first match, she had a chance. And then in the second match, she was able to kind of, prove dividends. And now we have we have Jordynne Grace with 1 game. And then we have Masha Slamovich with 1 game. So we have a 3-game series. We're going to have a tiebreaker at Turning Point. And, I don't know. Maybe it's my bias because I really like Jordynne Grace, and I don't really want to kind of put her in like a delicate situation or a situation where she kind of looks weak. Maybe, I don't know, just maybe. Like maybe you can have Tasha, maybe you can have Alicia Edwards come in, and like I said, maybe they can find a way to kind of rub her out. Maybe they can find a way to injure her. And then maybe, Tasha Steelz, jumps up all of a sudden and be like, I'm taking her place and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, like, let's do it. So then Masha stays, she stays the babyface champion because right now that's what she is. That's what she is. And you had, Jordynne Grace, she was liked by the TNA universe. She was liked by wrestling fans. She was loved by WWE NXT, even the locker room. So the fact that Jordynne Grace is going to come back and not return as the face of TNA doesn't really make sense to me. That's maybe the reason why I'm kind of like, you know what? I feel like in a rematch, Jordynne Grace is going to defeat her. And it would be right for her to do so. But in the world of professional wrestling, it gets to the point where somebody, who's been holding the title for quite some time, all that juice is already spilled. You've kind of wringed that towel out for all the water that you could possibly have. And, maybe it's, and you want to take TNA into different storylines. You want to take it into different heights. Jordynne Grace as a champion, everybody kind of already knew how the matches were going to be. Like, Jordynne Grace was absolutely unstoppable. Obviously everybody had doubts in their mind that anybody would defeat the Juggernaut. But it was just, I don't know, it was just too cliche. Like sometimes you'd watch TNA Impact and you'd be like, oh, well, Jordynne Grace isn't going to lose. Like, and then it turns out, guess what? She didn't lose. So the unpredictability factor in professional wrestling, and also just a chance to kind of have different women's superstars, holding the title, kind of having a little bit of runs here and there. You're going to see that happening. And I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen, in terms of TNA for the future. So, all right, next we have on TNA, we have the Rascals. The Rascals and Kushida are excited for their upcoming 6-man tag team showdown with TNA World Tag Team Champion, the Hardys, and Ace Austin at Turning Point. Obviously, ABC, Chris Bay, he's out. Obviously, what happened with his neck injury, obviously, bidding him. His family, his friends, obviously giving him my condolences. You're going to come back better and stronger than ever, ready to fight. Chris Bay, definitely rooting for you right here on the GSMC Sports Network. And, definitely can't wait to see what he does with the Hardys, because the Hardys, obviously, the Hardy Boys, jumping off of 10-foot ladders. Oh, my God, Jeff Hardy! Swanton bomb! Just kidding. No, but, these guys, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. And I apologize for it seems like I'm wiping my boogers. I'm not. I just want to make sure it just doesn't look bad. And I'm sorry if my voice doesn't really seem like it's projecting well. Trying to get through this, guys. Definitely 1,010%. Next, we have Ash by Elegance with her personal concierge, and Heather by Elegance defeat the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions Jody Threat with Danny Luna. Is this the next TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions? Is this the next champions? Like Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance. She's talented. Like, she's very, very talented. When she fought Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary, it was good. It was a nice match. It seemed like she had a chance. She had a chance, and then it didn't happen. And then she was literally this close to beating Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. So maybe, just maybe, like TNA creatives, like, you know what? We can't put the main title on Ash by Elegance right now, but we can put on the tag team titles. She gets a lot of attention. She often posts on social media. She could definitely be that women's tag team. You always have that number one contender, that women's division, number one person in the top tier in terms of competitiveness in that division, and then that's exactly Ash by Elegance. Then you have Heather. But I'm a huge fan of Spitfire. I gotta be honest. I'm a huge fan of Spitfire. I don't want to see them being dethroned anytime soon, but it might happen. And maybe that's why I'm like, you know what? Just gotta accept it. Might break my heart a little bit. Just a little bit, but, maybe it's the right storyline. Maybe it's the right way to go. Spitfire, the two-time, they've been, twice the TNA Knockouts, tag team champions. So maybe it is the right time for, to kind of have Heather by Elegance and Ash by Elegance to kind of come out and kind of showcase their skills as TNA Knockouts champions. Obviously, kind of reminds me of like a Jade and Bianca Belair kind of situation where these girls are top tier talent. These girls are in the main event. These girls could be WWE Women's and World's Heavyweight Champion if they wanted to be. But right now, WWE kind of has them on the back burner right now and be like, you know what, we're going to put at this time, we're going to have the secondary titles, which is the Women's Tag Team Championships, on them to kind of ultimately keep the eyes circulating around them, have the attention on them. Let's keep these lights, camera, action on this tag team, on these two amazing women's superstars. And in the future, we'll make them superstars. And maybe that's what Ash by Elegance, also Heather, are going to accomplish in TNA. And, I think it could work. It could work. Like I said before, like I'm not a huge fan of Ash by Elegance. Like, she's cool and all, but I'm a huge fan of Spitfire. So it should be pretty interesting. Frankie Kazarian defeats the legendary Rhino, the System, the X Division champion Moose, and JDC. They actually lose against Leon Slater and the Laredo Kid, which is pretty badass. We found out Joe Hendry's next goal is to become TNA World Champion, but first he vows to conquer the festive Turkey Bowl match at Turning Point. TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth sends a message to Eddie Edwards ahead of their TNA World title bout at Turning Point. Savannah Evans defeats Brittany Jade. And also, Trent Seven, Hammerstone, and Jake Something defeat the TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, and Ace Austin. Which is, gotta be honest, it's kind of a bummer, but, it is what it is. All right, now we're going to get into some, new Ring of Honor. We're going to talk about some Ring of Honor talks right now. We had the New Japan Professional Wrestling Strong Openweight Champion Gabe Kidd defeat Angelico. We also saw the Shane Taylor Promotions Lee Majority and Shane Taylor defeat Beef and JD Drake. We also saw Kevin Knight defeat Serpentico. We saw Tomohiro Ishii build up momentum by defeating Mike Bennett of the Undisputed Kingdom, building up, he has a match with Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. You got to keep your eye on. Ring of Honor Classic match. Mark Briscoe defeats Kazuchika Nakajima and Kensuke Sakazaki in Final Battle 2008, December 27, 2008 as well. Shingo Tagachi defeats Arya Davari tonight on. We had a Ruby Ground match. Ring of Honor World Champion Athena defeated Layla Gray. Obviously we can see that happening a long way. Ring of Honor World Television Championship match. Brian Cage successfully defends his match against AR Fox. And from what I didn't watch highlights of that match, and it seemed like AR Fox, there was times where he was unmatched, because when you look at Brian Cage, this guy's just an absolute specimen that is professional wrestling. Like, it's crazy. But, he does well for himself. So, it was like a David versus Goliath. Well, not really David versus Goliath. Maybe I'm, kind of compensating on, maybe I'm compensating too much on Aaron Solo. But, there was some times where he looked like he could definitely, be... No, AR Fox, sorry. He could definitely look like he could be a champion in the future. So, can't wait to find out, what happens at AEW Full Gear, obviously I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen with the Del Callis family. What's gonna happen with I think Hechicero, Atlantis Jr. and Serpentico is going to be in the pre-show. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But overall, I feel like it's gonna be badass. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. All right. Sorry guys, once again, like I said, I'm sick, got a sore throat, running on fumes here, but it's all good. Just trying to get through this without messing up. We have Becky Lynch. Bears basically is guaranteed to be featured back in WWE. She will return. We're going to talk about that when we come back. So, hey, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 20 seconds. So, hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.